girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I like the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. With their nails done now.
All right, we are back. We are back. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the live stream. Margin, what's up, brother? Pat, Ponzi, Son, Dino, Robert, Larry, Britt, Edgar. Good morning. Morning, everyone. Morning, Chef. Yeah, that was a great time, man. It was nice to get away for a little bit. Good time with some friends. Little Vegas trip. Got to get away every once in a while, right? Enjoy it. Enjoy life. Get away from the markets. Get your mind off the risk. Get your mind off the craziness. So it felt nice, man. It felt very good. Feeling refreshed. Always come back refreshed after a few days off. Lots of tequila. Not too much tequila, actually. A little bit more vodka sodas. A little Tito soda lime. It's always a good go-to. It's always free in Vegas, too, if you're betting. If you're gambling, free drinks. See what happened to the market. Whenever I go away, hamster, the markets make big moves. It's very common. I don't know why. I think every single time that I've gone away, I remember a pretty big day on the market to either direction. So yeah, yesterday was my traveling home, and I saw the markets were getting smacked. No poker, just blackjack and a lot of roulette. And roulette was good to us this time, man. Our numbers were hitting. 7, 11, 22, 9. 7, 9, 11, 22 were the main four. Those were hitting. So it was good. Morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. I was down like 2,500 the first 2 days, and then made it all back and then some on the roulette. Went from down 25 to up around 2,000, and then basically just said, hey, I'm happy to leave this place break even. So I just went sort of ballsy on the $2,000 profit, and yeah, came out break even. So fine with me. Coming out of Vegas break even. I'm happy about it. I'll accept it. With a great time, great experience, great memories. Can't beat it. So that's that. 56.60. Yeah, big rejection again there, Chef. We knew that was there. So nice. Congrats to anyone that caught any of that action yesterday. Beautiful rejection plays. Again, the 56.60 level on the ES. Again, same exact spot. And yesterday, we actually broke below. We broke below the channel lows. So this could start to be a more interesting market. This could be a more interesting market now that we've broken some of these channel lows on the NASDAQ and the S&P, which makes me very excited to come back. I'm feeling good about this because the days that I went away, finally, the market moved outside of the channel, and now coming back today could be a good time. Could be a good time to come back into the markets after a little bit of volatility yesterday. So feeling good today. Some very clear levels. Some very clear retest rejection levels that I'm definitely watching, right? Some potentially pop and fade moves, if that's what the market wants to start doing after that breakdown yesterday. I'm all about it. So let's lock in today. Let's take a look at some of the levels. I was getting a lot of messages this week. Where'd Desi go? Did he get blocked? Is he a scam? Is Desi gone? Guys, it's normal to go on vacations, all right? So there's going to be times where I go on vacation, okay? You can't be here every day. So, no, I didn't get blocked. I'm not a scam. I just went on vacation. So, clearing that up. Got a lot of messages this weekend, as I'm trying to enjoy my weekend. What's going on? Where'd he go? Here I am. I'm back. So, let's get started. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're here every single morning at 8 a.m. And let's do it. So, today, let's start with the economic calendar as we always do. Let's check out that economic calendar. And today, we do have the JOLTS. We have the job openings. You guys can see right now, right here, around 10 o'clock today, that JOLTS job openings. This should be a pretty important event at 10 a.m. today. So let's be aware of that. Maybe this is probably a great day to say, hey, first 30 minutes, let's take it easy. Let's see what happens here around the first 30. Let's avoid any type of that, up, down nonsense. And then let's wait for that JOLTS to come out, right, around 10 o'clock, and then see if there is a move after that 10 o'clock, right? So that's probably the right move today. I would say that's a good way to look at your day. First 30, let the market shake out, let it do the little dance, and then see what happens at 10 o'clock and see if we get a continuation move to either direction after that. That is similar to what happened yesterday around that 9:45, 10 o'clock. That is really when that market started to move yesterday to the downside, right after that 9:45 area. So definitely a watch. We haven't seen an anticipated comeback like this since Jordan. I would say the most anticipated comeback still is Dr. Disrespect. I don't know if you guys watch him, but it's gonna be a very interesting comeback when he comes back. Maybe I'm number 2, but I think number 1's still Doc. So job openings 10 o'clock. Let's be aware of that. Thursday, tomorrow. Tomorrow. Wow, tomorrow's already Thursday. That's crazy. Tomorrow, Thursday. Obviously, because the market was closed Monday, this week feels short. ADP non-farm employment change, 8:15 in the pre-market. Unemployment claims in the pre-market. So we do have some pre-market data tomorrow. So be aware of that before you do any swing trades. I think I am going to give up swing trades for a little bit. I'm going to make a video here, guys, today, most likely, about my month of August. I'll go ahead and pull it up live for you guys. Just sort of talk about the back half of my month because it really wasn't great, to be honest. And I think most of my losses, at least when I look back at TradeZilla, majority of my losses that came in end of August were swing trades. And that really is what got me towards the end of August. So still an absolutely insane month for me. The biggest month I've ever had. And you guys know we were really firing on some major cylinders this second week of August, which makes sense, right? It makes sense. When we look at the market, let's look at the market mid-August, right here. And the market was going straight up, right? This was mid-August. And I'm very happy that I took advantage of it, right? I locked in here. I soaked up these profits massively, right? Massively during that time period. But when the market started to sort of taper, right, and it started to do this little sideways dance here, things got difficult for me, and I was swing trading into really shitty markets. And the last week of August, guys, I lost $25,000. So, right, it was a tough end. It was a tough way to end it. I mean, I was 1 for 7 the last week of August. I lost $25,000, and it just wasn't a pretty time. And when the market was really trending higher, I was swing trading and making some major money, right, to the upside. Then the market started to do this, right, and I was still swing trading, and I lost $25,000, right, because I was swing trading in a market that really wasn't going anywhere, right? So I'm very happy that it's not, Piff, I get what you're saying, easy to make market when it goes straight up. It is if you're locked in on it, right? Still not easy, but I'm very happy that I made that money to the upside, right? That obviously makes my whole entire month, right? That move to the upside made my whole month. Just guys, again, just talking out loud. That's what I do. I'm talking to myself in an office room, man. I really don't care what people think. I'm basically talking to myself every day, and I'm just going to talk to myself like I would talk to myself if no one was listening. And I'm going to talk to myself and be hard on myself regardless. So it was a pretty shitty end of the month in this right here. But what I did right was I realized it. I understood it. I knew that I was in the wrong mindset, and I sort of kept it as light as I could. But finally, we might be looking at a change, right? We might be looking at a movement outside of this sideways action, and that is what we are going to lock in on now. So let's do that. Before we do that, real quick, any earnings calendar things to pay attention to? Let me check that out real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let me pull that up. Oops. Here it is. 1 second. Pulling it up. So this week, earnings, Dick's this morning. I had to see what it did. Dick's, Dollar Tree, C3.ai, really nothing major here. Broadcom. That's an interesting one. So tomorrow after hours, Broadcom. That's big. All right, that's big. Let's keep an eye on that. That's probably the biggest one here for the semiconductor sector, AVGO. So that's that. Really nothing there. Dollar Tree, down a little bit. And then Dick's, DKS, I think, basically flat. All right, let's do it. Let's get into the NASDAQ. Here we go. So we finally saw, and if we go to the 4-hour chart, let's start on these longer-term looks. I want to go over the big look, which is, let me see, I think I have I'll just use this one. The big look, actually, you know what? Let's just go back to the normal. So here's your 4-hour chart, right? And over the last week of price action, you guys saw us get stuck under that 19,670, right? 19,670 just failed pretty much the entire week. If we go to the hourly chart, look at this. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? And we stayed under it on Friday. Right here, that 19,670 level that we had in our charts, you saw how heavy it started to get at that level. Just could not get above. And that was very important, right? Because that 19,670, if we look at this 4-hour chart, look at what that was. That was right here, major high, right? Before that big downside. That was this previous low right here. That was these previous lows right here, right? So you had those very clear previous lows right here, triple bottom low, that turned into that major rejection back in early August. And when we started to get stuck under it again, look at what started to happen, right? We started to fail under it again. And finally, yesterday, we got that give up move. Now, yesterday's move failed under some very key levels. The first one was this 19.2 right here, this 19,200, 19,200. You see these rejections here. You see that support there. at 19.2, we have failed below that level. Now, 19.2 is also, if we zoom in on this hourly chart, this is where it starts to get really clean. This 19.200 is also the short-term rejection here, right, before that big pop to the upside. It was the support right here from Wednesday of last week, which lined up with the 20 and 100 SMA. And then you can see yesterday, take a look at what happened at 19.2. All right, if we zoom in on the short-term action yesterday, this is just yesterday. You can see up there 5-day, 5-minute. Look at 19.2 yesterday. Look at how once we failed below that and failed below that daily 20 and that 100 SMA, you just could not get back above it. You started to see failures under 19.2 on the intraday, which led to that next leg lower. So, with all that said, right, 19.2 is without a doubt the level that I would love to see this NASDAQ come up to for the next potential rejection play, right? That is the exact spot I would love to see this NASDAQ come up to. A little bit of relief, right? If we can get a little bit of that short-term relief, pop us back into that 19.2, start to get that rejection at that level, that would be an awesome retest failure. That is absolutely my top watch for the rest of the week if we can get there, right? I don't know if we're going to get there. That's a question, right? I'm not sure if we will get this relief bounce. That would be about just about 1.6%, and it would be a very clear retracement. Let's take it from these highs. It would be about a 38.2 to 50% retracement of the downside move, which would be an awesome spot, once again, to see if there's a retracement move and then a secondary move lower. That would be right around that 19.2. That would be right at that 100 SMA. That would be right near that 20 SMA. That would be right near these previous lows, right? That would be an awesome spot to look for that next big move. So that's definitely something I'm watching. I'm not sure if we're going to get there, but that is definitely, you know, sort of that bigger picture watch that I will have on my charts. Now, if we do not get that upside move and we see nothing but failures today, and the level that we got to break is the previous day lows, and it's right here at these previous highs. You guys see all this? Previous high, previous high, previous high, previous high. All right, some support here, support here, support here. And that's exactly where we dropped into and stopped the selling, right around this 18,820. So let me go down into the 15-minute chart now. You can see that zone that we just talked about is where this selling stopped yesterday, which is right at that 18,820, 18,825. So if we don't get anything to the upside, right? If we don't get this pop and fade move, right? If we don't get anything to the upside today off this demand low, and if we start to see us fail underneath yesterday's lows, let's say we start to see a rejection under this previous day low here today. If we see that, I think you are coming straight to this 200 SMA at 18,500. And I'll show you why. Let me go out to the 4-hour chart. If you do not see us hold up at this 18,820 zone today, I think you're coming down to retest this, and that major. That was our major pivot on the NASDAQ futures and this 200 SMA at 18,500. Let me go ahead and zoom in to this area. I'm going to zoom into this area right here. This area right here, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on that, and I'm going to show you what happened at 18.5, which caused the upside move previously. So I'm going to zoom in right here, right? Take a look at this. This is where that upside started to come in after the major downside early August. See this 18.5 level right here? See how it went from rejection, rejection, rejection into support, 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 right? This flip right here is what caused the market to move higher back in early August, right? This was the flip at 18.5 that created that upside move. Now you can see we are trading back into that. So if we do break this 18,825 low from yesterday, then I think you're going to see that get tested again. You're going to see us test that 200 SMA on the NASDAQ futures, okay? So that is definitely a main watch as well. So I think it's pretty clear here today, and I'll talk about this little level I have here in a second, but I think it's pretty clear here today. You're either looking for that pop and fade, right? The pop and fade near this 100 SMA and 19.2. I think that's definitely a trade idea to be watching out for. Or You're just looking to see if this market stays very weak, rejects under yesterday's lows. And if we start to see rejections under yesterday's lows, then we know it's game time, all right, to play that short side. We know it's game time to play that short side if we just get stuck under previous day lows here on the NASDAQ futures. So I think a pretty clear read. I would personally avoid trying to long this move. That's just me personally. I like to stay on the right side of the market, and it feels like the right side of the market right now in the short term feels a little bit weak, right? So I'm not that interested in this play right here. You definitely could look for it. If you're trying to be really aggressive off this low here, you can try to see if there's a long here. But I would personally want to see us back over that 19.2 to feel like the market is on the long side, right? I would want to see us back above this 100 SMA before trying to long this market. That feels sort of tough. But there is a trade there, right? Don't get me wrong. There is potential little scalp to the upside back into this level here if this demand really steps up today. Going to be tough to get that trade, I think, at least without, right? The one thing I think that could set up that trade, probably the one and only thing that could set up that trade or start to develop that trade, is if you get over this 18,950. That's why this short-term level is here for me. I can see 18,950 here yesterday. That's yesterday's low, yesterday's close, that you are stuck below in the pre-market, right? Look at that right there. That is yesterday's low and yesterday's close, because we closed at the lows, that we are stuck below in the pre-market, okay? So there is zero reason, right, in my eyes, to long if we're below yesterday's lows. That's always a thing for me, right? If we get above yesterday's lows and we do start to see that develop, then maybe you're going to see that, that grind higher start to develop back into our 100 SMA, which would then set up our short idea. And it's basically just up to you if you want to try to catch this move, right? Do you have interest in catching this move? Or do you just want to look for that, let it be and wait for that short side to come in again? Which one do you want to be on? That's really your call. I think there's opportunities, of course, everywhere, as there always is, to play the market different ways. But I would say definitely 18,950. Previous day low. I'm going to go PDL and PDC. That's PDL. That's previous day low and previous day close. Shit. Hold on. So I would say very important to pay attention to whether the NASDAQ is still stuck under that previous day low and previous day close at 18,950. If you are below that, I would be very careful trying to long this market, right? If you get back above this, then maybe you have a little bit of juice. But again, I think the juice at this point only sets up for that larger rejection play back at 19,200, which would be a perfect retest and rejection of the previous channel low, right? And a potential new fade at that level. So that's that. That's my analysis on the NASDAQ futures. Let's get into the QQQ. Yesterday, or pretty much all last week, right, we had that 474 level on our charts. We talked about how important that pivot was at 474. And man, oh man, do I wish I was here yesterday morning. It's funny how that works, right? You just you're not there when the clean moves happen, but it is what it is. You saw that 474 level try to defend itself last week, and yesterday we came into the market with a bear flag right under 474, right? A beautiful bear flag right under 474, and that 50 SMA, and that thing got absolutely smacked off of it. So that was sick. We've been talking about 474. We knew how important that was. And we came into the market yesterday and just instantly rejected that level. Bear flagged, right into that 474. Sick. Straight down off 474. That was our major level that needed to hold. It did not. It turned into a rejection point, right? And we basically just traded straight down into that 466. Now, that 466 in the 20 SMA, right? Look what happened at that level yesterday. That was the previous lows. So I'm actually going to the 15-minute chart. We had that 466, that 20 SMA, and these previous lows here. And if we zoom into the market at that 466 yesterday, look at the rejections that came in, right? 20 SMA, 20 SMA, 20 SMA, 466. Bam, 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 right? Market just staying weak under that 466 and that 20 SMA, which caused us to move lower. So we went from the 474 to 476. 476 turned into rejections, next leg lower. And now, I'm going to show you where we're at now. Now, in my opinion, there's two levels to watch here. Number one is 461. Let me start with 461. Let me talk about 461 and show you why this is important here. So number one, 461 on the QQQ. This is important because of this right here. I'm going to zoom over to this area here on the 4-hour chart. This is back in June. So here's 461 on June. June of this year, 461, right? 461. Look how clear that is. Previous highs into new lows, okay? Previous highs into new lows, which caused upside. Okay, that's 461. Now, if we go into the short-term time frame and we look at today, right? Look at 461. 461 is not only that major level that we just talked about, but it is also the 100 SMA, right? The thickest of the thick boys. Well, maybe not the 200, but the third thickest. And that's the 100 SMA. And you can see, look at how that 461 tried to hold yesterday towards close and then failed in the after hours, right at the 100 SMA. So that is without a doubt that rejection spot to watch for today. If we get a pop into 461, if we reject that 100 SMA, if we reject that previous level we talked about and the previous day lows and close, right? How many confluences do we need there? We have one, right? We have one, that 461 4-hour level, right? 461 4-hour level. That's number one. Number two, we have previous day close and previous day lows. That's very nice. That's number two. Number three, right? We have the 100 SMA there. 100 daily moving average. So we have a lot of things stacked up here at 461 that could be a fantastic watch for that short term, right? Short entry. So definitely 461. That is huge. And that lines up pretty much perfectly with that 18,950 level on the NASDAQ futures, right? Pretty much perfectly with 18,950 on the NASDAQ futures. So those two together are some very clean watch levels today, right? Very clean levels to watch today. 461 in that 18,950 on the NASDAQ futures. So if we stay under 461, we're staying weak, okay? And if we reclaim it, of course, that could be that same, idea that I told you. If we do reclaim it, we could get that next, that little pop back into 466, which could set up that next short as well. So 461, big time. Now, I have the lows drawn out here, right? The 457.60 lows from yesterday. And if we break that, guys, if we do break that 457.60 yesterday low, then I think you are coming down right here, right? If we break that low of yesterday and we see that rejection below previous day lows, or I'm sorry, of the pre-market lows, I think you are coming right here to 450, right? Look at how important this 450 level is. And I'm going to show you, again, why 450 is so important. And I'm going to have to zoom into this area right here. Back in middle of August, right, early August, we had the 450 level that turned into support, which caused the market to move higher, right? That's why I have a major daily pivot there. That's 450. So in my opinion, if you see a failure under this low, I think you're going to see that 450 level get tested, which is the same idea that we just talked about on the NASDAQ futures down into the 200 SMA, right? And that 18,500, okay? So I think that the QQQ and NASDAQ, very clear there, clear game plans. Hopefully that helps. All right, S&P 500 futures. Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at this S&P. So, very clear breakdown below 55.90 yesterday. 55.90 was our low, our previous high, right? That was our channel, right? It was between that 55.90 and that 56.60. That was our channel that we were trading in for the last 2 weeks. That sort of just got me all messed up, right? So we were between this high and this low, right? That was our channel. Very clear. Yesterday, an awesome break and hold below the channel lows, right? Look at this. Look at this to end sort of midday. You got under that 55.90. You failed it. You failed it. You failed it. You failed it on every attempt higher, and you had your next leg lower. That is an awesome intraday failure below that previous channel low, right? How awesome is that? You finally had a nice move outside of this channel with some continuation. Love to see it. Now, today, this 55.40 level, which is right here, you see that 55.40 level? That is also the 50 and 20 SMA, and we are living below that level today. So this looks very clear, right? Take a look at this. This 50 and 20 SMA right here, and this 55.40 zone needs to be a level to be careful of for rejections, okay? We need to be careful of longing into this 20 SMA and this 50 SMA and that 55.40 zone, which could very clearly be the next level of rejections on any pop higher. So be careful there, okay? 55.40. Now, if you get back over 55.40 today, all right, you guys should know what I'm looking for. If you get back over 55.40 today and you hold above it, then I think that is your move that possibly gives us the sexiest retest of them all, which would be 55.90, okay? This would be the sexy, aggressive short for me at the previous channel lows at 55.90, right? A little bit of a retracement move from those highs. Give us that 50% retracement, right? Push us back into that 55.90, and then see if that short starts to come in once again at that 55.90. That only happens if you get over 55.40, though, right? That only happens if you see strength over 55.40, which is a tough one to even expect, right? That's still very tough to expect. So if we see weakness under 55.40, we see more downside on this market. If we get over 55.40, then our sexy short starts to set up possibly back at 55.90. And that could be a very interesting retracement. So watching both those levels, yeah, the 55.70 is also big there. I agree with you there, Matt. I actually was going to put that on my charts as well, right here. I agree with Matt on the 55.70. That's definitely a big spot as well, right here, the 55.70. So I think you watch both, right? 55.70, 55.90, I think are both spots to be watching for that rejection play. I agree with you there, Matt. 55.70, 55.90, both spots. You can see the 55.70, the 55.70 for sure. Now, if you reject here today and you fail the lows, 55.06, that's the lows of yesterday. If you fail that low, then I think you are trading right into these lows here, which is 54.70, and I'll show you this in a second. And below 54.70 is the big level. I'm going to actually go out to this right here. Oh, nope. I want a new drawing set. New drawing set. Create drawing set. Daily. Okay. So, under that 55, under that previous day low, if we do break that low, I'm just going to show you this real quick. Right here is possibly the correct level to move down to. And I think you will see this. It depends on when. But right here, guys, this is really clear. If we just look at this daily chart or 4-hour chart with no levels on it besides one, look at this right here. This high, these highs, these lows, right, and the 100 SMA. That is very, very clear, right? That is very, very clear. So that is where I think, ultimately, you might see this ES down to. You might need to test this double bottom low, very clear. These previous highs, very clear. And this high right here, very clear. And on top of that, the 100 SMA. That could be the 54.30 level that needs to get tested here on a little bit of a larger retracement move, right? When we pull out, when we look a little bit further out, that would be a little bit of a larger retracement move from these lows, right around that 54.30, 5400 area. That lines up with the levels we had on our charts. Let me go back. Right here, right? We had that 54.30 right there, right? See this? 54.30, very big, okay? So 54.30, there's a little bit at 54.70, but I would say if we see continued weakness on this market, if we break below yesterday's lows, we trade into 54.70. If we get weak there, then I think you will see our test of that 100 SMA, 54.30, 54.40, okay? Very big spot there. Very big spot. Very clear levels. Hopefully that makes sense to you. SPY. Huge. 555. We were actually in the voice chat for this one yesterday. I was able to come back intraday yesterday to the group, and we talked about how, and we were testing 555 right when I got home yesterday. And so you saw in the short term 555 try, right? It tried. You can see right here that 555. It tried to hold on. And look what happened after failing below it. Take a look at this short-term time frame. This is the 1 minute chart, but you can see right here. Look what started to happen when you rejected 555 intraday yesterday. As soon as you failed under that 555, the downside really started to come in again. So 555 on the SPY, what a major level that we've been talking about. That was that channel low, guys. You remember this, right? This was our channel low. At 555. We had the channel that was sort of stuck. Yesterday, we finally saw the weakness below it, and as soon as we saw that move under 555, that was it, right? That was the straight up, straight down move. Very nice. Really nice. So, looking at this hourly chart on the SPY, where's the next really nice short, right? Where's like the really awesome short for this market to sort of move how it should move, right? How do markets move lower? They move like this, right? How do markets move higher? They move like this. Why does every chart look like this, right? It's because that's how the market naturally moves, at times. Of course, at times it'll slip and continue, but usually, right, the structured moves are sort of those retracement moves, turn previous lows, previous highs into new lows, and just sort of structure to the downside. And so what would I like to see? This right here, right? This would be the sexy short to be looking for right there at 555. If we can get that pop at some point this week or into next week back into 555, we can look to see if the previous channel lows turns into new highs. And if that previous channel low at 555 then turns into a major rejection spot, we know that we are getting stuck below the previous channel lows, and that could be a sick short entry. So I really like that. This is very clean. This would be an awesome watch at 555 if that sets up for us. Unsure if it will, right? I'm unsure. There could be more extension to the downside. That's very possible. But man, would that be the clean setup if we can get a little fake pop this morning into 555, or maybe it's a fake pop all day, right? Maybe it's a multi-day trade, right? Maybe today you just see that zombie grind, right? Maybe, all right, big downside yesterday, follows today with a little zombie grind all day right into 555. We open up tomorrow at 555. We start to see this tomorrow pre-market, right? And we start to see that give up move. We take a short here, and then this is a rollover, right? That could be, I mean, I'm just speaking that into existence because, man, would that be a sick trade, right? So we'll see. We have to see if we get that push back into 555. Not sure if we will. If we break the 548, right, take a look at how big this 548 level is. That's where we ended the short side yesterday. We ended it right here at 548. Look at this, 548, 548, 548. Look at this triple top at 548. 548 is where the SPY stopped selling off yesterday, right? Right here at 548. And that's also the 20 and 50 SMA right there, right? So there's two things to look for today, right? It is the very ugly and very aggressive fail under 548, fail under the 20 and 50 SMA, and just downside slip, right? Or it's the, all right, games are being played at 548 today. We keep seeing this sort of wicking back higher. We see a lot of games being played at this major demand. And then, okay, maybe we have to let this thing fade back into 555. So two things to watch today. right? That 548 and that 20 and 50 SMA, be careful shorting into that. If we do get those holds, then look for that pop and fade up at that 555. All right? Under 548, it gets ugly, in my opinion. Under 548, I have 543.50 because there is something there. But to be quite honest, guys, under 548, that feels like 540 to me. That feels like 540 to me. All right? Under 548 feels like 540 to me right here. You can see these lows, this double bottom low, and these lows here. That is that 54.30 level. All right? That's right here. I'm sorry, 54.40. That's our 100 SM. So it lines up so clean, right? You can see how these line up. The ES level we just talked about at 54.40 and the 100 SMA is 540 on the SPY. All right? Look how clean that is. So pretty clean, right? If we do see that 548 break, yeah, we never hit 548. We never hit it, but it's right there, right? We were about 65 cents away. If we do break that 548, then I do believe that that weakness may start to come in, right? We got a gap. Yeah, we do have the gap. Where's this high? 540. Yeah, 5. That's why I had that little level in there, 545. So we can watch that, the little gap fill on SPY. That lines up pretty well with that level I had previously. 545, little gap fill there. You could keep an eye on that to 545. Let's see. Let's zoom out real quick. Yeah, that's right here, our 545. So if you do break 548, maybe you do watch that gap fill level, 545, but I think ultimately it's looking like that 540 if this market stays very weak. All right, if we stay under the 20 and 50, stay under 548, then I think you're sort of seeing that 540 move. All right, cleanest trade is this. Cleanest trade is this, 555. That's the cleanest trade. All right, let's keep going. IWM, 212, very clear level today. You can see right here. All right, take a look at this. 212, very clear, 2050 SMA. That's a must break for more downside. If we get under 212, we go 210. Okay, this could be a hold. Where could that hold push us higher into? 216. 216 would be the beautiful break and retest short entry, right? Previous channel low, new channel, right? Channel 1, channel 2, turn channel 1 lows. That held into rejections. This would be a 6 short at 216. I would absolutely be looking to see if the IWM can pop and start to fail at 216, turn this high, this low, back into failures. That could be awesome. Watch 216, watch 212. All right. Press that like button for me. 2,400 people here, 700 likes. If you guys could, take a second, press that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're about to jump into some stocks. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes, man. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes. All right. So, Tesla. Really ugly failures at the 220 yesterday with some really major wicks. So, let me go ahead and zoom out on this 1 hour chart. Here's your 1 hour chart on Tesla. And you can see this 216 to 220 zone getting smacked down in the past, and look at the smackdown yesterday at this 216, 220. So, I do not like that, right? I do not like that. I don't like that 216, that 220 smackdown. I can also see in the 4 hour chart that this is possibly just a major downtrend, right, that we are staying in. Right? Look at this downtrend that Tesla continues to stay stuck below. So, that 216, 220 zone right here is still keeping Tesla lower. And that is, to me, concerning. I would need to see Tesla back above this area and flipping back above it over multiple days to really think that this is going higher. Okay? Now, to the downside, what I would be watching before you get too aggressive on the short side, I would be careful getting aggressive short right into this 200 SMA, this 203. Tesla might start just living in this right here. All right? We might just start living in this zone. This might be Tesla's new home, right? Between 220 and 203. So you have that 200 SMA below, and below that 200 SMA, you have this 100 SMA at 197. So be aware of that 203. Be aware of that 200 psych. Be aware of that 200 SMA. A lot of demand down here to be cautious of to take shorts into this low. I would look for every push towards that 216 and 220 to turn into new fades, right? This looks like the right spot to be fading Tesla if we get back into it. If we can get back into this 216, 220, that would be where I'd look to fade it again, okay? NVIDIA is below a huge level today. Huge level. And I think sort of concerning, the 97 boys might get 97 again. I think it's very possible. That is if we stay under 108. Let me show you why. So, right here, guys, NVIDIA under 108 is concerning to me. You guys can see right here, 108, these 108 highs, and look at what NVIDIA is doing under 108 today. Look at how NVIDIA is getting stuck under 108 in the pre-market. It tried to hold it end of day yesterday. We failed below 108, and look at how we're stuck under this level now. I do not like NVIDIA to the upside if we are below 108. That is concerning to me. That is a very major 4-hour previous high here. Look at this. Look at this zone right here. 108, 108, 108, 108. And those 108 rejections turned into moves towards 97, right? And so if we start to see NVIDIA living under 108, that could turn into the moves into 97 again, right? That's very possible. So we need to get back over 108 on NVIDIA before this thing has any chance of moving higher. If we get over 108, there's still a little bit of concern at that 100 SMA, right? That's also concerning slightly. And really, the 116 is that big test. But the break under 116 yesterday, what a beauty. And congratulations anyone that shorted under 116 yesterday. So today, on NVIDIA, I would be watching very closely. And you do see some of these wicks extend. It's like that 110. Yeah, it's the 110 to 100 SMA. Anywhere in there feels heavy to me, right? Anywhere from that 110 to 108. I might just put, honestly, to protect myself here today, I might just do this. Right? Anywhere from 108 to 110, anywhere within these previous wick highs, right? If I look to the left, take a look at this. Look at all these wick highs that happened in this zone. See this? It wasn't just 108. It wicked higher towards that 110, failed. Wicked higher, failed. Wicked higher, failed, right? So I'm going to keep that as a whole zone because I don't want to long into these wicks if we're over 108. I want to make sure I know, hey, okay, it's over 108, but we are still under that 110 and we're still under that 100 SMA, right? So look for those failures within this 108, 110 zone. And if we see that, guys, and NVIDIA stays weak, if the SMH stays weak, you're not far away from testing that 97 again. The only way I think NVIDIA flips here is a very strong reclaim back over the 100 and possibly a retest of that 116, right? Possibly a retest of that 116, which could be that next entry point. Okay? So, big watch there on NVIDIA today. I want to go over that SMH real quick because the SMH, guys, is really what drove the tech downside yesterday. It was all semiconductor weakness, and this SMH was down heavily. You saw the semiconductors really drive that tech weakness. This is because that SMH has failed below this 230 level, right? 230, 230. Look at that failure below it yesterday. After that fail under 230, guys, it was pretty much just a dead man walking. It was pretty much just slip and slide to the downside. Today, there's some levels here around this 220, this 221. You can see a little bit of action here around that 220, 221. How much do I trust that? Not that much. If I look out on this 4-hour chart on the SMH, right, I think it's pretty interesting to see, or at least I think it's potentially very likely that we could see this right here, right? This low right here. That's like 206. If we see 206 on the SMH, then NVIDIA is going lower, right? Semiconductors are going lower. Obviously, that 200 SMA, where it held last time, could be that saving grace level. That's right around Yeah, it's right around that 216, right? So we could watch that 200 SMA. We could watch that 200 SMA on the semiconductors, on SMH. That's right around that 216, 200 SMA. That's possibly where this holds. But, yeah, I would be watching what happens on the semis. If we push back higher on this semiconductor ETF, if we push back higher on SMH, the level that I would need for us to get back above is right here, 230. I would need us to get back over 230. If we can get back above 230, then I think we could see some type of a reclaim move. Okay? So I would want to see that SMH over 230 to feel confident that the semis could find upside. That is right here at these previous lows. ASTS is moving. Yeah. I bought a lot of shares of this actually. I actually let the group know about that. So we'll see if this works out. I like buying these. You can see right here. Bought some ASTS shares down on the retest. So yeah, I'm in ASTS. I bought like 1,000. I bought like 500 shares of ASTS around that 25 area. I bought that because of the retest move, man. That's really it, right? Look at this 4 hour. Right, you have that big squeeze. You had that nice downside move back into this retest level. And I figured, hey, this might be a nice spot to add one of these sort of squeezy names, right? One of these small cap squeezy names. If we get a nice entry point around this 25, 26 area, we might get that squeeze. And it looks like, yeah, it's starting to happen a little bit. So, yeah, not bad. I'm happy to be in this. I would be watching 32. I would be watching 32. Still yet to, still yet to feel whether this is a fully legitimate company here. I haven't read enough about it. I need to maybe do a little bit more research before I think that this is a fully legitimate company. But there's definitely a lot of good partnerships, right? I mean, they're working with the biggest of the biggest. So I can't imagine it was enough for me to put some money into it. I probably should do a little bit more research. But so far, the technicals have been good to me. So watch 32. That's really the big watch for ASTS. You got to hold over 132. I'm sorry, just 32. I wish it was at 132. I'd be making a lot of money at 132. So, yeah, watch that. Really nice holds, right? Look at this 20 SMA holding this thing higher after the nice slide, right? Right here, right here. Watch that, right? ASTS is basically trying to create satellite communication, right? Satellite, instead of cell, which makes a lot of sense, man. I don't know why there's still cell towers in the world. I feel like we are a much more advanced civilization than having cell towers. Why is our phones not coming from satellite? Why is our phone service not coming from satellite? I think that's what this is trying to do, which makes a lot of sense to me. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the thesis behind this company. I don't understand why we still have to put up cell towers. I'm assuming there's a reason. I'm not that smart. But satellite phone service sounds to be a future, right? Sort of like what Starlink is doing with internet, right? Starlink. I have a Starlink. Where is it? Where's my Starlink? Oh, it's in the closet. Yeah, so interesting company. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of cons to it, but I think it's an interesting thing to pay attention to. So, yeah, there you go. All right, let's continue. Let's go to, we're a little bit over schedule here, but I'll go a little bit over schedule. I'll go to, give me 3 more minutes here, and then we'll get out of here. Microsoft, 405, big level below. Watch that 200 SMA above at 410, right? Microsoft 410, 200 SMA. Be careful there. AMD, big support here at that 136. I would be looking for AMD to push back into 144, right? And then look to see if that rejection comes in there, right? 144.50 in that 20 SMA. I'd be watching that. Go to Google real quick. Google, the weakest of the bunch, has been very weak, Google, failing back lower towards this major demand here at that 155. It looks like Google is going to fight at that 200 SMA today, right? And where do I think the best short entry on Google would be? Right here, 162. Right at these previous lows where you failed yesterday. If you can get back into that 162, that would be where I'd look for that short. Be careful shorting Google right by the 200 SMA. Apple, big demand here on Apple today after a large pullback, which is good, right? You guys can see right here, Apple at this 220. This is a big spot for Apple. It's holding 220. If you get a push higher on Apple, it's a very clear spot to look for rejections right here. Look how clear this is at 224. 224, 224, 224, 224. If you get a pop into 224, that could be a great spot to look for that fail. I would watch 224 on Apple. Netflix could not break and hold above all-time highs. You can see how clear that all-time high level just smacked it lower. I'd be watching this 20 and really this whole zone right here. This 20 and 50 SMA could be a tough spot to be shorting Netflix into. I would prefer, again, a short at the all-time highs where it's been a short every single time. I'd be careful shorting Netflix at the channel lows, okay? Yeah, we'll go over Kava. Kava, to me, needed to hold 112. It's not. It might be down at this 110, right? It's where this sort of earnings move originated. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this. Let me go to the 15. All right, I'll go to 30-minute. Yeah, I'd say it's right here at these lows. What is this, 109? Looks to be sort of that last stand. If Kava does not get anything off this 109, this move higher from that earnings move, I would assume it really breaks down. But this right here looks to be your last stand. The low of this candle, 109.25. 109.25. That looks to be the last stand right there. But you can see how clear. Look at these 120 rejections that came in. So that's very clear. All right, that's very clear. SMCI just getting stuck under 460. Look how clear that has been, under 460. It really looks to be stuck in a channel now, SMCI. So 460 to 410 looks to be your new channel on SMCI. But yeah, those 460 rejections look very heavy. All right, let's go into the futures real quick. So we can see there is some life coming in off these lows, guys. Right? We see a little bit of life off our demand lows that we talked about. Okay? Watch the previous day close, previous day low 19 or 18,950. If you do get over that low, if you do get over that high here, let me move this chart. If you do get over this little previous day low, previous day close, then I think you could get your zombie grind, right? And the zombie grind could set up that next short up towards that 19.2. The SPY is holding very aggressively the 20 and 50 SMA. So it will be, I think, slightly tough to short the SPY into the 20 and 50 SMA. The reason why I'm waiting for a retest short is because I don't know if I want to short that SPY into the 20 and 50 SMA. I would prefer to get my short right here, right? I'm still bearish on the move, but I need to make sure I have a good entry point. And right at the 20 and 50 SMA in the SPY might be a tough entry point. I think if you can get that little zombie grind back in the 555 today and start to see that reject, that could be really where you cash in on the downside. If we can get that 555, we'll see if we can get it. QQQ, still very clear levels above, right? We still got that major 461 that we talked about. If we get over 461, you look for that 466. All right, guys? And the ES, right there, 55.40. All right? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. We are back in business. I hope today's a good day. All right, today for me, it's about getting back in the swing of things. I see my levels clearly. I'm going to try to execute the best of my ability today. Get back on the high horse, right? Just get back grooving. So let's see how September is. Today's going to be my first trading day of September. And, man, we are almost September, October, November, December, man. We're almost just 4 months away from the end of the year. So crazy. Let's stay strong. Let's keep going. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.